Okay, we're back and talking AWS Identity and Access Management. Today we're going to set up an IAM user and group. So to help us out with that, let's take a look at our network diagram so we can conceptualize the areas in our network where credentials are going to be needed. The first thing is going to be just logging into AWS. So just getting into our AWS service. But we'll go over credentials for this in a little bit more detail and some best practices. But before we do, let's look at the other two areas where temporary credentials are going to be needed in our system here. So in the last video, I talked about how our backend processes are going to need to communicate with DynamoDB in S3. So our EC2 instances are going to need to make API calls to those services. To do that, we are going to use IAM, and we're going to set up some IAM policies in the next video. So we'll go over that in a little bit more detail, obviously, in the next video. But let's jump back over to IAM users and logging into AWS, essentially. So when you first log into AWS, you're going to be logged in as the root user. So the issue here is that the root user is all powerful, and as logic shows, we shouldn't give full access to everybody, even yourself sometimes. So what we're going to do here is create an IAM user for our team who's going to be working on this application, and that will basically create some separation. We'll allow them to do certain things, and then other things they won't be able to do. All right, so let's jump in and get started. Okay, so I'm over here in my console. I am already, I'm just going to make myself a little bit smaller here. I'm in the Identity and Access Management IAM dashboard here. I'm going to go ahead and create stuff with this recorder. I'm going to create some, the first thing we're going to do is create a user. All right, so I'm already over here in the user section. Create user, and then I'm going to name this user admin. Our admin group. We're going to provide user access to the AWS management console, and then we are going to go ahead and create this IAM user. All right, so we're going to want it to auto-gen a password, and then it's going to make the user create a new password at the next sign-in. All right, so that looks good. We're going to go ahead and click next. Next, it's going to prompt us to create a group. I'm going to go ahead and create a group for well, we already have this group here, but let's go ahead and create a user group. User group name is going to be admin group 1. All right, so the first thing, or what you're going to want to do here with groups and policies is you're going to want to attach the policy to the group and then add your user to that group. So it makes it more organized, and that way you're not adding policies to each user, which really can be a pain if you have a ton of users. So we're going to add all of our policies here to this group. So let's go ahead and search for the policy, and then we're going to add this user to this admin group. All right, so what the policy that we're going to want is EC2 full access. EC2 full access. It's going to allow this user admin group to create EC2 instances, which we're going to do in the next video. Okay. Okay. EC2 full. Okay, and then user group. Okay, so now we have the group here. I'm going to click next. All right, and then we're going to see the permission summary right here. You can see what we're going to be able to do here. It has this IAM user change password. That's going to prompt us to change password at login, and then we're added to this admin group, and then we have the permissions associated with that group. All right, so we have our admin user. We're going to go ahead and create that user. Right, and that's basically it. We have the password here. We can go ahead and copy that, which I'll do, and then I'll go ahead and log in and change the password before we do the next video. All right, so we're all done. That's basically it. That's how you add or create a IAM user and group. So let me know if you guys do have any questions, and we'll jump into the next one, which is IAM roles.